Now that we've been talking about how action potentials come from your brain, down your spinal cord, out a nerve, and to muscle fibers, it's worth it for us to look at this structure that's called a motor unit. This is going to blow your mind, but one neuron does not control just one muscle. Right? I can control many muscle fibers in one muscle with one neuron. And therefore, you have one neuron that's coming down your brain, out your spinal cord, that you see pictured here, that round thing up top that looks like it has a butterfly on it, and then into your biceps brachii, and that will site a collection of muscle fibers within the biceps brachii. Now, if your brain senses that you need to produce more tension, it'll just use another neuron to send an action potential down your brain, out your spinal cord, into another nerve that excites other muscle fibers in your biceps brachii. If your muscles sense again that you need more attention to it, then yet another neuron will excite certain muscle fibers in your biceps brachii. And each collection of muscle fibers controlled by one motor neuron is called a motor unit. So here I have a ton of muscle fibers in different colors, and they're all attached to one motor nerve that excites it. Motor units are huge in the large muscles of your legs and back. Motor units are very small in your eyes. And in fact, sometimes you can have only one motor unit in some of the very fine muscles in your face or in your hands. When I went to adopt my cat Matilda, she was in a cage all by herself at the ASPCA. And when I saw the listing for her online, it said small. So I was expecting a little kitty, but I failed to realize that the picture had been taken 2 years prior and that she'd been in that cage all by herself because she was really afraid of the other kitties. Poor Matilda. So I open up the cage and she comes right out because she's like, oh, my person finally got here. And I go to pick her up, and it was like picking up a 9-pound bowling ball. I suspect the bag of treats that was on top of her cage was probably the culprit. But what happened was my brain assessed her unexpected weight, and what it did was it recruited or activated more motor units to produce the tension that I needed. So this is called recruitment. This is when your brain senses that more tension is needed. As I picked her up off the floor and held her, my brain was sending action potentials to a lot of different motor units, and it was sending it to them in cycles. So motor unit 1 was stimulated, then 2, then 3, then 1 again, then 2, then 3. And this tension cycling, it keeps the tension constant up in that purple line, cycling around maximum tension. And it kept the tension where I could hold my little bowling ball. This picture here is, it's a picture of recruitment. Each of these individual pictures here is basically the cross section of one muscle. And each of these, because we did see this picture in lab, each of these is a cross section of one muscle fiber. So look at what happens down here. Muscle motor unit 1 is stimulated. And then my brain senses that I have picked up a 9-pound bowling ball, and my brain sends another stimulus to motor unit 2. And now both of these motor units are cycling in contraction. But it's not enough. That's only enough for a 7-pound bowling ball. So my brain sends another stimulus, now exciting another collection of muscle fibers, and the last one. And so now you're getting the idea here that different motor units can be recruited to handle an increased load or an increased weight against which you want to create tension.